Okay. My haiku is Silicone dreams swell. Investors' hearts beat faster. Clouds of caution loom.
Oh, yeah. Get a little laugh out of that. Okay, other story is about measles. We've been reporting this throughout the year because, we got brainworm Bobby. Brainworm Bobby's out there screwing up hell for the entire North American continent. Not just us. Yeah, all the anti-vaxxers are having a big old party while they kill people. This is from theguardian.com. We have to go to a British paper, I guess. Constance Malloret. U.S. anti-vax stands to blame for continent-wide surge in measles, experts say. Governments across Latin America are stepping up efforts to vaccinate their populations against measles as outbreaks in North America drive a 34-fold increase in the number of cases reported in the region this year. Measles cases have surged worldwide to a 25-year high, due to low vaccine coverage and the spread of misinformation about the vaccine safety. However, there's added concern parts of Latin America are over unequal access to healthcare and the worrying situation in the U.S., which is facing the worst measles outbreak in decades following the reversal of vaccine policy led by Stinky the Clown's health secretary, brainworm Bobby Kennedy. Yeah. We are being run by complete morons, in other words. The U.S. political position is in relation to health and vaccination is an outrage, said Rosanna Reitman, an infectious disease doctor and coordinator of Brazilian Society of Infectious Diseases Immunization Committee. It's a problem for us, she said, and the understatement of the year. Measles was successfully eliminated from the Americas in 2016, and then again, we had to come back and do it again because the anti-vaxxers are morons, and then again in 2024, but the continent is now at risk of losing its measles-free status. There have been 11,668 cases reported across 10 countries and North and Latin America, according to the latest data from the Pan American Health Association, or the PAHO. More than half of these cases are in the U.S. and Canada, with 3 deaths in the U.S. and 2 in Canada so far. Mexico is the hardest hit country in Latin America with more than 4,800 cases and 22 deaths, followed by Bolivia with 354 cases. Other countries, including Brazil, Belize, Paraguay, are dealing with a few dozens of infections linked to imported cases. In other words, stupid Americans going to these other countries and going, my kids aren't vaccinated, I'm special, and then spreading it everywhere else. Concern over high numbers of cases in North America has led to the Brazilian Health Ministry to focus on more on the highly contagious disease, with a nationwide vaccination campaign launched for children and teenagers in October. Adults who did not have the measles, mumps, and rubella, don't forget, this vaccine prevents 3 diseases that can kill you. Mumps can kill you as an adult, make you sterile. Measles you get as a child, right? It can kill you later. Mumps can also kill you later. Rubella, I'm not as versed in that, but again, it's a contagious, awful disease. Stop fucking around with your kids' health, you clowns. But I don't know how to read scientific studies at all, and I never went to college, and I never learned any science. But here's this study I misunderstood when it clearly says, I'm like, the study you misunderstood because you're scientific illiterate is not going to help you explain your stupid decisions not to vaccinate your children. Vaccinations work. They've always worked. They've never not worked. There's some that had problems for sure. But you know what? Measles is a problem too, and it kills a lot more people than vaccines do. Brazil has protocols in place to respond swiftly to individual cases. When 9-year-old tested positive for measles on 7 October, Várzea Grande, health officials were swift to act. Nurses kitted out in protective gear, visited the child's school, and worked quickly to implement a ring vaccination, inoculating everyone who had been in contact with her. The city's health teams have also been going from door to door, identifying unvaccinated people and holding vaccination drives in shopping centers and international airport. Rickman said the biggest fear was imported cases. We are much more worried about Brazilians traveling to Europe, to the U.S. or Canada, catching measles and bringing it back than about those who live here, she said. Amira Arros, a professor of global health and epidemiology, epidemiology at Virginia's George Mason University agreed that the outbreaks in the U.S. pose a threat to neighboring countries. Now suddenly, you're more likely to run into someone with some kind of infectious disease in the U.S. You visit the U.S., you go home with souvenirs, you might as well go home with the measles. Mexico's first measles case in February was imported from Texas by an unvaccinated Mennonite boy. Again, we have those. The Amish who never get vaccinated because, oh boy, we're special. Oh, whatever. Bolivia's first cases spread through pockets of unvaccinated people living in Mennonite settlements. Again, just involuntary vaccinate these people. Just round them up and vaccinate them. I'm sick of this. Oh, religious freedom horse shit. Mennonites are Anabaptist Christian communities of European descent who may reject aspects of modern life, including vaccines. No, they may not. Get vaccinated, you creeps. Daniel Salas, executive manager of PAHO's special program for comprehensive immunization, said having close-knit communities that often reluctant to receive vaccinations and having large flows of people from country to country through regions are aggravating factors. Health authorities should identify communities resistant to vaccination and target their efforts there, Salas said. There's no cure for measles, which can lead to serious complications and even death, but is easily preventable. 2 doses of MMR vaccine, which provides 97% protection. The MMR vaccine rates in Latin America fell during the COVID pandemic in the years leading up, but have recovered since 22, reaching 86% last year, according to the World Bank. However, there remains below 95% threshold needed for herd immunity, with a lag in uptake of second doses and significant disparities between countries within them. Lack of information and access to health care has contributed to lower vaccination rates, but doctors also blame the influence of growing anti-vaxxer movement in the United States. The growing of stupid people who think they're smart. I'm smarter than you. You didn't read that vaccination pamphlet that came with it that told you all the things. Yeah, I did read it. I understood it. You didn't. That's what's the difference is here. You know, that's every conversation I have with every anti-vaxxer. 3% of all people get raised swelling in the vaccination place. Oh, wow. Raised swelling from a needle getting stuck in your arm. Imagine that. Wow. The population sees the U.S. minister says about vaccines, and some people start to say, well, we shouldn't get vaccinated here either, he said. Yeah, because there's stupid people always do the laziest thing possible. While the U.S. Health Secretary did endorse the MMR vaccination after an outbreak in Texas in April, Brainworm Bobby has also spread misleading information and misinformation about measles treatment. This month, the U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention, now led by a biotech investor, is about as qualified in science as, your cat, suggested the MMR vaccine should be given as 3 separate jabs, even though the safety and efficacy of combined shots have been demonstrated by decades of research and going against the CDC's long-standing advice. Oh, a guy who's an investor gives you medical advice. You should take it, right? Bolivia declared a national health emergency in June, extended school holidays to avoid contact between children, launching widespread vaccination drive, relying partly on donations from Brazil, India, and Chile. But coverage in October still had only reached 45%, while the government still has 1.6 million doses available. So ignorance is working its job overtime in Bolivia. Oh my, they're sticking something in my arm. I don't trust it. Oh, I'm a paranoid idiot. I never learned anything. That's basically every anti-vaxxer I've ever met. Paranoid idiots who never learned anything about science. Where's your segue? Was it a haiku again or a joke? Or?
Yeah, it's just like, why can't we just be untouched and never spoiled and, we just live without any struggle? I wish the world was like that. We just live without any struggle. My haiku is, spots of red emerge, whispers of a past return. Vigilance we need. The spots aren't measles, they're the idiots. They're so angry. They're so angry and dumb that their faces are red.
The same people that want me to take their word for it that God exists, right? They want scientific evidence that these vaccines work, and they have scientific evidence. They don't care about it. So science is never going to work on stupid people because I don't understand how science works. They think vaccines should be 100% effective with no side effects. That doesn't exist anywhere. It's the best thing we got. If you got nothing else,
All right,
this is
Rogue
all